Crack open a light lager, almost no flavor. Now open a craft stout. Rich, roasty, almost like dessert. They taste nothing alike, but both are made from the same 4 ingredients: water, grain, hops, yeast, nothing else. So why does one taste like water and the other taste like chocolate? The answer is not the brand. It is not a secret formula. It is not the water source. It is time. How much time the brewery was willing to spend, and how much of the grain it was willing to replace with something cheaper? 4 ingredients, 4 steps. And a decision made after Prohibition that changed what beer tastes like for the next 100 years. What is actually in your glass, and what should you check on the label that most people never look for? Beer is older than writing. Around 4000 BC, Sumerians in Mesopotamia were already brewing. They had a goddess of beer named Ninkasi, and a hymn that doubles as the oldest surviving recipe. Workers were paid in beer. Temples distributed it as daily rations. You drank through a straw because the brew was thick like porridge. For most of human history, beer was safer than water. Boiling killed microbes. Fermentation killed more. In medieval Europe, monks perfected recipes across centuries, and every batch tasted different because every batch was alive. Those brewers did not know what yeast was. They did not understand fermentation. They just knew that certain things done to grain and water produced alcohol. Louis Pasteur identified yeast in 1857. For 6,000 years, the most important ingredient in beer was invisible. Then, in the 1400s, Bavarian brewers noticed that beer stored in cold caves over winter tasted cleaner. They called it lager, from the German word meaning to store. But cold caves were seasonal. The discovery waited 400 years until mechanical refrigeration arrived. When it did, lager could be brewed year-round at scale. The process monks varied by instinct became a process machines could repeat without variation. 4 steps. Each one transforms grain a little further into alcohol. Malting. Barley seeds are soaked and allowed to sprout. Sprouting activates enzymes that convert starch into sugar. After a few days, the seeds are heated in a kiln to stop growth. Temperature determines everything. 80 degrees Celsius produces pale malt, bready, blonde. Raise the heat and you get chocolate malt, coffee malt, the roasted depth of stouts. Same grain, different heat, different beer. Mashing. The kilned malt is crushed and mixed with hot water at 65 degrees. Enzymes break starch into fermentable sugar. The result is wort, a sweet amber liquid. Boiling and hops. Wort is boiled, hops go in, early hops add bitterness. Late hops add aroma. Varieties range from citrus and pine to floral and earthy. Fermentation. Cooled wort meets yeast. Over days, billions of cells eat sugar and produce alcohol, carbon dioxide, and hundreds of flavor compounds. Fruity esters, spicy phenols, buttery diacetyl. The yeast strain, the temperature, the timing define the finished beer. Ale yeast works warm, between 15 and 24 degrees. Lager yeast works cold, between 7 and 13. Warm fermentation is fast and expressive. Cold fermentation is slow and clean. 4 ingredients, 4 steps. This is how beer was made for 6,000 years. Then, Prohibition ended. The American breweries that survived needed to scale fast and cheap. Barley was expensive, so they found a shortcut. Rice, corn, grains that add fermentable sugar without adding flavor or body. Up to 40% of a mass-market American lager is not barley. It is a cheaper grain that lightens the taste and lowers the cost. The label says beer. It does not list which grains are inside. And unlike almost every packaged food in your kitchen, beer in the United States is not required to disclose its ingredients. That changes what comes out of the process. Cold fermentation at 7 to 13 degrees produces a clean, predictable result. Same taste from the same factory every single time. Industrial breweries run grain to can in as little as 14 days. High-pressure carbonation replaces natural conditioning. The CO2 is injected after the beer is filtered, not produced by a secondary fermentation. The yeast is removed entirely. Nothing living remains in the can. Compare that to a craft ale that ferments for 2 to 4 weeks and conditions for weeks more. A Belgian strong ale that ages for months. A barrel-aged imperial stout that sits quietly in charred oak for over a year, picking up vanilla and caramel from the wood. When you buy a 6-pack for $6, you are paying for speed. The cheapest ingredient in industrial beer is not rice. It is time. A $6 six-pack and a $12 single bottle start from the same 4 ingredients. One spent 14 days becoming beer. The other spent 14 months. In the United States, beer is regulated by the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, not the FDA. The TTB does not require breweries to list ingredients on beer labels. The European Union does, Japan does, Australia does, America does not. A can of soup must list every ingredient down to the last additive. A can of beer does not have to list anything. Budweiser is roughly 30% rice. The company mills 2.6 million pounds of rice per day at a single facility and ships rice syrup across the country by train. In 2019, Budweiser ran an ad campaign listing its ingredients as a competitive jab at craft beers. The irony was that the transparency was marketing, not regulation, and the ingredient they highlighted was the adjunct that strips the flavor. Beer enthusiasts cite the Reinheitsgebot, the 1516 German purity law, as proof that real beer has only 4 ingredients. It is the most famous regulation in brewing history. Most of what people believe about it is wrong. It was not German, it was Bavarian. The rest of Germany brewed with wheat, herbs, and adjuncts freely until 1906. The original text does not mention yeast. In 1516, no one knew yeast existed. Pasteur identified its role 341 years later. The purity law was missing its most important ingredient for longer than the United States has existed. And its purpose was not purity. Bavarian authorities wanted to reserve wheat and rye for bakers. Forcing brewers to use only barley protected the bread supply. The most famous law in brewing history was not about beer quality. It was about bread. Next time you crack open a beer, hold it for a second. Listen to the hiss. In a naturally conditioned beer, that gas was produced by yeast during a secondary fermentation inside the bottle. The yeast finished its work and left the carbonation behind. In an industrial lager, the gas was injected by machine after the beer was filtered and every yeast cell removed. Same hiss, different origin. Now taste it. If the beer has no aftertaste, nothing lingering on the back of your tongue, that is not crispness. That is the absence of malt. The grain was replaced. The fermentation was cut short. The yeast was filtered out before it could finish. What you are tasting is efficiency. A craft brewer and an industrial brewer start with the same 4 ingredients. One adds time, the other removes it. One lets the yeast finish, the other filters it out. You are not choosing between brands. You are choosing between patience and speed. If the can does not list its ingredients, the brewer chose not to tell you. Same 4 ingredients. One adds time, the other removes it. Whiskey starts as beer. Same grain, same yeast, same fermentation. The only difference is what happens after. That's the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.